गांधी जिंदाबाद। छोड़ दो भाई, पुलिस का तानाशाही नहीं चलेंगे।
रोकने का क्या तुझे बताइए आप लोगों को। तो ये समझ के परे कि यहाँ की पुलिस प्रशासन को कितना बड़ा दबाव झेलना पड़ रहा होगा दिल्ली से या गवर्नमेंट से, कोई कल्पना नहीं कर सकता। 15 लोगों को, ये तो कोई आज तक मैंने कभी देखा नहीं।
सर आपके साथ
कानून अपना काम करे, 144 लगे तो आप अरेस्ट कर लीजिए, परंतु आप अगर AICC में आने नहीं रोक सकते हैं, तो ये हालात हैं, देख रहे हैं आप लोग।
सर ने देखा कि आपकी सिक्योरिटी को भी जो है बीच में रोक दिया गया, आप लोग तो खुद चीफ मिनिस्टर है, इससे भी आप लोगों को नहीं लगता कुछ अजीब सी स्थिति इस वक्त बनी?
डेमोक्रेसी की हत्या ही हो रही है, आप समझ लो देश के अंदर। ये देशवासियों को समझना पड़ेगा। खाली धर्म के नाम पर राजनीति कब तक करते जाओगे? हालात बड़े गंभीर है देश के। पूरे देश में गांव तक में तनाव हो गया है, समझ नहीं पा रहे सरकार। कस्बों में तनाव हो गया है, चाहे रामनवमी हो और चाहे वो शुक्रवार की नमाज हो।
On a day that we are seeing member of parliament from Kerala who has obviously moved from Amethi recently to Kerala, redefine or attempt to redefine the concept of satyagraha as some kind of cover for economic corruption. On a day where we have seen eminent personalities like B.K. Shivakumar, P. Chidambaram, A.C. Venugopal and others flock to Delhi to protest an investigation into an economic offence. On a day when it seems that the Congress party is signaling to all economic offenders of the world, of the country, that when confronted with or when being questioned by the police or an investigative agency on matters of economic corruption or economic offences, the way to respond to that is to collect a crowd and to try and intimidate the investigative agencies. On that day, we would also like to draw your attention to another case that is being played out in Kerala, where events of the last few days, which we have observed in the media, have firmly pointed the needle of suspicion in a long-standing gold smuggling case that has been attempted to be investigated by central agencies for last many months. The needle of suspicion now has firmly settled on Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, his Chief Minister's office, his family. This press conference is really to lay out a few background facts that are all in the public domain. When this gold smuggling scam was exposed in 2020, the then Chief Minister, anticipating the impact or the backlash of this on the forthcoming state elections, wrote a letter to the Honorable Prime Minister, and I would like to quote a few phrases from that letter, and of course through you remind him as well. He termed the crime, and I quote, extremely serious. Implications for the nation. His quote again in that letter, a crime that warranted a thorough investigation. One more quote from that July 2020 letter from Honorable Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. Every link should be unravelled. The state government will provide all assistance. But from that day to today, the Kerala government under Pinarayi Vijayan has done everything to block the investigation into these criminal activities and serious crimes. He has called it serious himself. He used the state police to roadblock the central agencies who have the expertise in investigating these crimes. But the recent revelations by a lady called Swapna Suresh via a sworn 164 statement in court, not a mere allegation, it is a sworn statement in court that we have all seen the media report, are explosive and unprecedented. It has firmly pointed the needle of suspicion to Chief Minister Vijayan and his family as the fulcrum of this conspiracy that involves currency smuggling out of the country and of many unexplained consignments to his official residence. There are, as you know, in the public domain now, the media has reported there have been attempts, instead of trying to investigate this crime, people connected with the establishment attempted to meet this lady and settle the matter. Money was offered, threats were proffered, and a carrot and stick approach was adopted to try and silence this lady. And that has also been reported in the public domain. So serious questions have arisen from this. I will just lay out 4 serious questions and observations. This crime that has serious national implications, said the CM in the run-up to the elections. A crime that involved, is an observation, that selling our national security for a few pieces of gold. As my colleague Tom Vadakan also used this phrase a few days ago. Why has the CM gone from talking about every link should be unravelled and state government will give assistance to now doing everything to silence and intimidate people who are giving sworn statements in courts? Does the CM believe that the ADGP Vigilance who was brokering the settlement, who was then removed in midnight after it was publicly, his audio recordings were made public, doesn't that confirm the involvement of the CM rather than absolve him? And the 4th, what is the source of money that Shaji Kiran was offering to Swapna for a silence? Whose money was that? Whose money was he offering? I will just end and then I'll offer it, I will hand it to my colleague by saying that there is an unprecedented crisis in Kerala. This is the first time in the history of Kerala. And there have been many CPM LDF chief ministers in Kerala. We have had EMS, V.S. Achuthanandan, Nayanar, many chief ministers, but never has a CPM LDF chief minister been accused of, via a sworn statement, of misusing his office and state and his administration as part of a criminal conspiracy, criminal economic conspiracy. So we appeal today, we call upon him in the interest of India and Kerala that he must come clean. He must stop his intimidation of the process of investigation and law and must permit a free and fair investigation of the case and prosecution of the crime. A crime he himself referred to as having serious implications for the nation. Those serious implications don't change just because he his CMO or his family are alleged to be involved. Thank you.
My friend and colleague Sri Rahul Gandhi has put across the background of the whole issue. And now during the last 1 week, what we are seeing in Kerala is an unprecedented situation. The situation is that black color is now banned in Kerala. Even media persons who wore black masks were asked to remove it. The Chief Minister attended a function of the Christian church, and the church had to issue a direction in advance that nobody should come with black masks or black colored dress. And now you know that it is monsoon season. Generally we all carry black umbrellas. The police people, they kept away their black umbrellas and had to carry colored umbrellas because CM doesn't want to see black anywhere. Because the communists always, they take the moral high ground of democracy, on human rights, on freedom of expression, right of speech, all these things. But in Kerala, the Chief Minister day before yesterday, he started his journey from Trivandrum, which is in the extreme south, and today he has reached the extreme north of Kerala's Kannur district. And throughout Kerala, wherever he went, this was the scenario. Transgenders were beaten up because they were wearing, unfortunately, they didn't know about any of these issues. So they had worn black dress. They were going to the metro station, they were beaten up. And they say about freedom of expression, right of speech. It is the height of fascism, more fascist than Hitler. That is what is happening in Kerala. Police is kept on guard throughout, and the Chief Minister has a protection which is unheard of, unseen, which is there, not there even for the Prime Minister. Today some of the Malayalam newspapers have reported, in Kottayam the Chief Minister was there in the morning, in the afternoon the Governor was there. The level of protection, that was the number of policemen who were deployed, it far outnumbered the protection that was given for the Governor. So this shows that as Sri Radhivji mentioned, the needle of suspicion points towards the Chief Minister. Why should one be frightened so much unless he has something to hide? If you have nothing to hide, why should you be frightened? Why should you be so much evasive? And for the last 1 week, it's only written statements that is coming out. Media persons were asked to assemble in the hall where the CM was to address 1 hour in advance. 1 hour in advance. So that nobody in between stretches his mic to the Chief Minister and asks a question. So this shows that the Chief Minister is not in a position, he is afraid of facing the media, facing the public, and there is large scale protests across the state. Those who, in spite of all these things, there are youth activists of BJP Yuva Morcha who has conducted the black flag demonstrations. They are beaten black and blue. So I want to reiterate the point that the Chief Minister should come clean on this. If he has nothing to hide, why he is frightened of facing the media? Why he is frightened of addressing the common man? Why he wants to have such a large protection? Because communists always say that we work among the common people. We don't need a protection. I have seen former Chief Ministers of Kerala traveling in entire Kerala, even in the railway station, with just one personal security officer. Nobody else. And that days are gone. Now the communist chief ministers who say that we are with the proletariat, we are for the working class, they are running away, they are utilizing the state machinery which is used to oppress the poor. That is what they are saying. The state machinery is for the oppression of the poor. The police force is for that. And that police force is called to give protection to such a chief minister. So let him come clean on this issue. Why he should, even now that investigation is going on, an inquiry commission was set up to investigate against the central agencies, whether central agencies are having any ulterior motives or designs in taking this case. So it is unheard of. And Congress, they are playing a sort of a friendly match with the CPM. They say ED is questioning Rahul Gandhi. In Kerala, they are asking why ED is not questioning the chairman, chief minister. What is your stand? So this is the double speak what we are seeing in the case of Congress. So I must say that the chief minister, instead of running away from the issue, he should face the public. He should come clean on this issue.
Rajiv Chandrasekhar ji, Muralidharan ji, Sanjay Mahयोग ji. A very good evening to friends. We have touched on the subject earlier. We have also touched on the black syndrome that the chief minister is suffering from. And the information that we had from the church was the laity was told nothing black. So I only hope that the black hair that you have on your head was not dyed because the chief minister doesn't like it. That being the situation and the kind of syndrome that they are suffering from. Incidentally, a mediator, Mr. Shaji, who owns about 10 companies in a gap of about 2 years, shell companies probably, and is also linked with the Believers Church, Yohanan, and the linkages and the tale that the enforcement directorate was involved in finding out how he carried the kind of money that he had, and he is essentially also owner of the Cherumali estate, which was apparently to be sold for the airport that was coming up. This is a clever studied game. Who are the investors in Cherumali estate? Are things to be found. Money laundering at a very, very clever state of affairs. That was what was happening there. Now this Mr. Shaji, there's tapes on public domain. This is not the Bharatiya Janata Party saying this. This is tapes released by Swapna, and the tapes clearly indicate that this gentleman was trying to scare her to withdraw the statement under 164 which she was sworn in, and she was being threatened. These are not something which we imagine. These are records which was released to the media in Kerala. It is alleged that yes, he was a messenger from the powers that are in Kerala. The desperateness that has stepped in is very strange. And as Muralidharan ji mentioned, the Congress position is very strange. I just tweeted about it, and incidentally Muralidharan ji also has raised it. Here they question the right of the Enforcement Directorate of inquiring into the embezzlement of 2,000 crore alleged. It's an investigative work. And in Kerala they say exactly the opposite. Why is he not being investigated? Now I really don't know what the Congress party's position is. The drama that was enacted today was for everybody to see. Some of the people who came in didn't know why they were there. And one leading light from Kerala said, because we are here because Rahul Gandhi has been arrested. Now, point is, this kind of orchestration is done because of sheer frustration. That's the position of the Congress. But I don't want to deviate on this issue, on the Congress issue. But let me be very candid. What is happening in Kerala is one of the worst scenarios that Kerala has seen since its formation. This kind of corruption, this kind of allegations of corruption is something that has never been heard of. And they claim to be the communist followers. The chiefs in Delhi are not speaking one word about it. They are looking the other way because finances arrive from Kerala. And if the Communist Party of India is in such a mess that they don't raise a finger, they talk about corruption at every level. But what about their own corruption? These are questions that people of India are asking. We in the BJP are using these mirrors to point it out to them that this communist movement is on the last patch of Indian history because this kind of corruption has never been seen. Biryani is arriving in handis with gold in it, cash going. Absent-minded chief minister leaves the cash for anybody to deliver it to him in Dubai. And what is in the briefcase? The admission is an alleged admission is that it was cash. So nobody says whether it was foreign currency or Indian currency. May what it may. Absent-minded chief minister, money arrives in Dubai, handed over to him, his principal secretary. These are answers that people of Kerala are watching. This is a highly educated state. Believe me, today they may get away with murder, but these days are counted. Thank you.